now 6 o'clock. We'll call the Diamond Head Country Club and Property Owners Association Open Board Meeting for May 20, 2024 to order. We call the roll.
President Pro Tem Wardhouse. Director Ramirez.
Here.
Director Pino. Director Nutting.
Here.
Director Lee.
Here.
Director LaFontaine.
Here.
Treasurer Blackwood. Secretary Tozan. Treasurer James. Vice President Sislo.
Present.
President Becker.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we need an approval of minutes for the meeting of April 15th, 2024.
The minutes of April 15th were approved 4/21/24 by email.
Thank you. Does anyone need to amend the meeting agenda? Hearing no one, I ask that we have a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
I make that motion.
I second it.
So done. The President's report is next. Since this is the last official full meeting that I will be present of, I would like to thank some of the people who will be leaving or have left the board. I'd like to thank Ernie Knobloch, who served admirably as president for 3.5 years, and Jerry Gillen, vice president. They both resigned for health reasons at the end of 2023. I'm happy to report that they both seem to be doing well, and we thank them for their hard work. While acting as president for the past 5 months, I've come to appreciate what President Knobloch did, because as treasurer I had duties, but I pretty much could plan for them. But as president, things seem to come up every day. So thank you, Ernie. I'd like to thank Ronnie James, who served on the board, or is serving on the board, and also was the head of the golf committee for the last 2 years. It's not always an easy task. Dennis Tozan, who served as head of the House committee for most of the last 2 years, under which term we've made significant improvements on the financial status of the House. Thank you, Dennis. And Director Lloyd Ramirez Jr., who's the head of the Safety Committee. Thank you, Lloyd. Moving on from that, we had a question come up at the last open board meeting during the POA members' comments on non-agenda items. And the gentleman brought up a particularly bad month that we experienced financially in the club last November. He insinuated that perhaps we needed a forensic audit to find out what had happened. Well, lacking the will to have a forensic audit, because we pretty much knew most of what happened beforehand. So the accounting people, Mr. Blackwood, myself, and Darian McInnes, our controller, got together to look at it, because we didn't want to question, although we can't answer it during this forum, we didn't want the question to go unanswered because it sounded like maybe something was wrong. And there were two things that led to that financial situation that month. One of them was our employees all get paid every 2 weeks. That means you have to have 26 payroll periods in a year. So normally most months you have 2 payroll periods. It happened that month, last November, 3 payroll periods fell into the month, and there's no significant increase in revenue that goes along with a payroll, so that skews the numbers for that month in the 2 months that happens. The other thing that made a difference in that month was we had come to a situation in the club where the flooring was beginning to delaminate, and it became a safety issue. The vinyl flooring was curling and lifting up, and people were having trouble walking on it, etc. So to avoid any kind of safety concerns about our employees and our guests, we decided to change the floor. So we tore up and replaced the entire floor in latitude 30. Most of the work went on in that month. It certainly disrupted the whole operation in the club. And those are the two things that made up for the financial difficulty we suffered during that 1 month. Lastly, we've come to an agreement. The board has voted to renew the contract with the Slavic Golf Group for this coming year. It becomes a little more difficult every year as we gain more and more golf members and our courses get better to displace our 400 annual golf members for a 3-day event, and this is the only one we do that for all year. But Director James, or I should say now Treasurer James, for the last few months, and his golf committee handled the negotiations with the help of Greg Abity and Chris Altice, our Director of Golf, and we finally came to an agreement that would allow us to host the Slavic again this year. I don't think either side is completely happy with the way the negotiations went. They probably would have liked to have paid less. We would have liked them to pay more. But we did get a significant increase in the fees this year that we'll be able to use to supplement our golf equipment and maintenance and make the courses even better for the members. And that's all I have. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is committee reports. Mr. LaFontaine?
Yes, the Safety Committee met on Wednesday, May 1st. The committee reviewed this year's safety performance and of the organization. Also received an update on our safety consulting firm. All items that were identified by the last safety inspection have been completed by our facilities and maintenance folks. And the safety procedures and OSHA updates are being provided by our safety consultants in a very timely manner. The House Committee also met on Thursday, May 2nd, and the April financials were reviewed. The toast inventory system for food, as requested by the Administration Committee, was discussed and determined that it is not feasible at this time due to the different aspects of the business, such as specials, banquets, and catering. This will require further evaluation to determine the path forward. Samples for rugs for the club lobby were presented and selected by the committee, and we now have Halpin's has been added as one of our suppliers, and they provide high-quality seafood and steaks to the food services. And that's it.
Okay. Director Nutting, do you have anything to add?
No, I'll defer to the committee chairs.
Thank you. Secretary Tozan?
I have nothing.
Vice President Sislo?
The Recreation Committee met the first part of this month and kind of wrapped up the work that we've done for the past 2 years and set some goals for the coming year. The fencing around the pools has really enhanced people's interest in having parties at the pool, and sign-ups are going quickly with that. The tennis ball machine is well received and working well. We're continue to look at pickleball and finding ways that we can expand that, and we've challenged the Tennis Pro to continue to explore the options that we have available to us for the future as far as how we can expand pickleball. We've also replaced playground equipment, repaired that which we can, and there's a discussion going on to see if there's a way to put some limited but safe play type equipment between the clubhouse and the driving range so that young children, when their parents are on the patio, will have some place to be entertained safely. That's just in the beginning works, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Director Lee?
Yeah, we didn't have a Southside or a Marina Airport Committee meeting this month, but we did have some information from Diane. She wanted us to look at the dock around the fueled area, the fueling pumps. It had become loose and a safety hazard, and so we made the decision with your approval to go ahead and get some materials over there, and they're about a third of the way finished with that repair, and it should be finished up in the next week or so.
Okay, thank you. Director Ramirez?
I have no report.
Thank you. The next thing on the agenda is the general manager's report. Mr. Abady?
Good evening, everyone. In your packet this afternoon are the financial reports for the month of April and year-to-date. In summary, for the entire company, the net income gain was $151,897 versus a budgeted amount of $115,698 for a positive variance of $36,199. And year-to-date, we have a net income positive $334,155 compared to a budget of $272,300 for a positive variance of $61,856. I point out the membership dues being fairly close to budget, and that's interesting to see. And we're pleased that we have property owners who are continuing to step up and make payment. The next item in the packet is a summary of number of lots where covenants may have expired, how many have signed up for POA membership, and it also gets into number of lots that covenants have not yet expired but are scheduled to by year 2029. In summary, the total number of lot owners who are to pay POA dues of 5,898, of which 3,975 are paying, which gives us an estimate of 67%. The next item in the packet is capital expenditures. It's pretty self-explanatory. It gives a status of those that have been approved, those that are pending approval, and those that have been completed. The left side of the page is for year 2024, and the right side is future, just to keep it on tabs for consideration and awareness of things that may need attention in the not too distant future. Collections report shows a year-to-date amount collected of $70,004. Real estate sales, we have a little action on real estate sales, some interest on that. Then we get into the amenity use statistics. You can go through that and digest it. Interesting to have conversation about pickleball when the volume of pickleball that I've witnessed is mainly at the two courts at the club near the main swimming pool. Whereas at the tennis club, there's not an abundance of pickleball play, at least not yet. Then we show the food and beverage sales for the month of April and year to date. April is, of the first 4 months of the year, is in second place behind March. And Fridays tend to be the busiest of the days of the week. And Latitude 30 is the busiest phase of our operation. The next report is a payroll overtime report by department. And the backup of that gives you a explanation as to who the person is. It helps the department managers monitor and watch what's taking place. And the last page in my report I'll read it to you. It says, "On behalf of all the POA employees, thank you for serving in your role as a member of the Diamond Head Property Association Board of Directors. As this will be the last official meeting prior to the election of a new board, know that because of your commitment and dedication, Diamond Head remains as a unique and fascinating city, community, club, and property owners association. The POA's wonderful amenities have been maintained and enhanced under your stewardship. As employees, we thank you. The next thank you is to all Diamond Head property owners who continue to pay POA membership dues. We thank you for your patronage and ongoing support as you clearly understand the significance of maintaining a status of being a POA member in good standing. Your payment of POA membership dues contributes to the funding necessary to preserve, maintain, and enhance the various amenities for your enjoyment. After all, it is the lifestyle made available to you with the option to enjoy the amenities and club offerings that attracted you and your family to Diamond Head in the first place. As a POA dues-paying member, you are classified as a member in good standing. You understand the necessity of ensuring that property values and the quality of life in Diamond Head is protected. Thank you.
Thank you. As I understand it, Greg, before you get away, and Director LaFontaine, all of the ballots have been sent out. Is that correct? For the election next month?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so we would like to urge all of you who are members in good standing to vote either by sending in your absentee ballot, by electing a proxy, or by showing up on the polls on June the 15th, so we can truly put in place the people you want to represent you on the next board. And thank you, Ronnie and Greg and Andrea and Sue and everyone else who's worked on this.
Great. Thank you.
Since we don't have anyone commenting on the regular agenda, we will go on to the regular agenda. We have item 2024-09, motion to approve replacing 116 by 12 steel roll-up door to the maintenance building, cost not to exceed $7,600. Would someone like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion in absence of Ronnie. Dan Hammond has.
Wait, Stuart, we need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, go ahead, Stuart.
Dan Hammond, our green superintendent, has been working with this door for many times and tried to temporize the fixes and do this and that, and it's just time to put a new door in for obvious reasons.
Okay, you have anything to add, Ronnie?
It's it's closed in a closed position. They can't repair it anymore.
Okay, all right, thank you. Anyone else? All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous, it passes. The next item is 2024-10, the motion to approve the purchase of replacement furniture for the pools, cost not to exceed $6,500. Would someone like to make that motion?
I make that motion.
Second.
All right, made and seconded. Vice President Cicillo?
This request is really just a replacement for items that are breaking due to long-term use and sun and the efforts that happen. We will distribute them throughout all the pools. There's not one assigned area, and they are to maintain the similar appearance. So it is just maintaining what we already have.
Okay. Director Lee? Do you have anything to add? Okay. Motion is on the table. All in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. The motion passes. Since we have no POA members' comments on non-agenda items, we have no executive session to be had tonight. The next meeting will be an open board meeting. We'll come to order for just a brief period of time at 9 a.m. on Saturday, June 15th, in the community center where the election will be taking place. We'll adjourn right after we bring the meeting to order for voting, and then we will come back at approximately 4 p.m. to give the results of the election. Can I have a motion to
Gary,
adjourn?
Gary, before you do that, I would like to second what you said about Mr. Knobloch and Mr. Gillen's stewardship for all these times. I would like to compliment and thank all the board members who are exiting, and the committee chairs and the committee volunteers that did that, that did all their valuable time to get on those committees. And hopefully, if anyone's listening or wants to pass it on, those committees will be starting again in the new year, and we need valuable input from the membership to do that. I just want to point out one thing. Mr. Abity mentioned me by name under the stewardship, but I think everyone gets credit for what went on.
Okay. Now can I get a motion to adjourn?